All right. It's like 5:30 in the morning. I have I have work that I have to go to in a second, but I got up early and I thought this would be a good time to actually get something done before I go to work because I have some stuff I have to do after work. I'll still probably do a video today, so maybe you get two today. Who knows? Um, let's start with layer 1. This is page 28. And not only is this page 28, I can tell that I'm ready to finish this story because I got really excited about doing some Bee Stranger stuff. I've already drawn. Whoops, this is upside down. Why are you upside down? This is the first page of Bee Strangers already drawn. And it's a working title right now. I was thinking about just calling it Cybernetic Bee Strangers. Like, it's all the same syllables as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's 8 syllables. Cybernetic Bee Strangers. That's only 7, actually. So it is different. Well, that's good. Um, let's see. There's a lot of stuff you can kind of do just when you're setting up, one of which is drawing the panel borders. Which I always try to do first. And yeah, we're getting somewhere. Come on now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I still haven't come up with dialogue for that final panel. I know what he's supposed, kind of like what he's supposed to say, but I've got to like really think about how I want to phrase it. A lot of times, I'm doing it without a script. I'm just kind of working from a set of like beats. I've got to hit this point on this page. This is what has to happen on this page. And so I'll draw the sequence because sequentials are the only thing that really matters, in my opinion. And then I'll come up with a dialogue. And this is kind of similar to the Marvel method where, Stan Lee would say, okay, um, let's do a story about Hulk fighting the Avengers instead of joining the Avengers. And Jack Kirby would basically figure the whole thing out and draw it. But then Stanley would come in and have to write the dialogue after the fact, right? It's kind of like that. So I'm acting in both roles here. I'm saying, um, here's what has to happen on this page, and then I draw the whole thing. And then, you know, I wake up the next day and I go, okay, and now I've also got to write in some dialogue or whatever else. Speaking of which, there's no time to lose. All right. Layer 9 is going to be ink. And we're also going to add in a bubbles layer because the first thing I want to do in here is there is a narration box. That's going to break the panel border. Breaking the panel border to me is a major decision. You almost never want to do it. but there are certain situations where you want to do it. One situation would be if you're drawing an action scene. Am I on the right? Yeah, I'm on the right one. If you're drawing an action scene, it's okay to have a character flying or getting punched out of the narration box slightly. I think that's okay. Come on now. And then this is one of the other um, instances where I think it's okay. And that is where you structure the narration box and you're just basically going slightly out of the panel as like a pop-up. I think that's okay because it's still structure. It becomes structurally part of the panel at that point. But let's see. I'm gonna also. I'm breaking all my own rules. Um, I want to go down a font size. So I went from 14 to 13. It's pretty subtle. These are 14s, that's 13. You can't really tell the difference. It'll just give me that much more room inside the box without changing the size of the box. The box changing at that size would be a bigger problem. All right. So let's get into the ink layer. Actually, let's get back into the drawing layer for a second. What's missing on this panel is something in the foreground. I think there should be something, up here. It can be just some grass or some branches or something. And doesn't really matter what it is. I could do the same thing here on this one. Having something in the foreground is always good. It gives us a better sense, even if it's just like a little corner or something like that. This is not going to have it. I think this panel will go without. Because he's up in the foreground. He's close. We might have another. We could actually put our card guard right here. They're looking tough. Card guard. All right. Maybe something like this. And actually, it gives me a good idea of what he could say. And he's already saying that the most important thing here. This time, only one of us will walk away alive, right? That's the challenge to the Jub Jub. I think it might be better if we dial it back here and he says something that we have an exchange between the two guys that are going to be in the fight. And he's going to call. We don't really even name this character, the number 2 card guard. We're going to call him Deuce from now on. And then he's going to say something like, "It's been nice knowing you," or something like that. Maybe they have like a moment where they're like, "In case we don't survive this," right? Just before they go into battle. In case we don't survive this, it's been an honor to um, fight. And he goes, "By the way, I never caught your name." And I'll say something as like, "Call me Deuce." something like that. That's what we'll have right here. We'll have like a moment of like camaraderie, and this is very this is very manly, macho, macho. All right, here we go. What else is going on here? Let's see. Da, da, da. I'm looking at how we did the armor. Now in this case, like I had established on the end of the last page that we're getting some armor because he's been running around shirtless this entire time. But then one thing I didn't do, and this is probably my own laziness to blame here, is I didn't design. I probably should have gone through and like designed like an entire suit of armor and done, a couple of test things. But on the other hand, I've drawn hundreds of sets of armor. like like I was a fantasy artist. I drew D&D stuff, so I know how to draw armor. That's not what's the problem. I just haven't made all the design choices. So um foolishly I end up making these design choices kind of on the spot here. All right. Foolishly. All right, let's get back to the ink layer. Ink. Let's get back to I got it. And we're just going to start with the foreground. And I know this one's just some brushes, but let's do it like a branch. Richard Friend is doing like he does like these sort of retrospectives where he's looking at other artists. And yesterday it just happened to be Tom Mandrake, who is my first Kubert School teacher. Um, I started taking Kubert School classes online. Also, just so you know, the next semester is cranking up soon. Looking forward to it. I think it starts April 10th. But where was I going with this story? Well, anyways, it was from him that I learned how to really start to put these kinds of layouts together. I'm not saying I've got his chops. He was a teacher. If you think about comics, it's like an insane ladder where if you can imagine a ladder where every rung is twice as high as the rung that comes before. So let's say from the first rung on the ladder is 6 inches. The second rung on the ladder is 12 inches. The third rung is 24 inches, and it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher and harder and harder and harder. It's hard to level up, right? But you can do it, but it's like you gotta grow. Like you have to actually grow to keep moving. And Tom Mandrake as a teacher was great because I feel like he got me from like levels like like on the ladder. I went from let's say I already started at rung one, but to go from like r- rung two to maybe four just in his class, like that was that much. It was that much of an information drop, like in that one class, and you know. And then over time, you got to just kind of do the work. There's only one way to get better, and it's to do the work. Um, that's why I self-publish, is to continue to improve. It's the only way to do it. Which is, by the way, also why you shouldn't listen to people going, they're not trying to sell comics, or why are they making comics? The only answer to that, the only answer that deserves is shut the hell up. I'm working on myself. I'm trying to like build up my skills, you know? So is what business is it of yours? None. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of characters out there. The ironic thing is, all these skills, comics in particular, you could be the best artist in the world and you wouldn't be good at comics because comics are about telling the story, about sequential art. And if the only stories that you put together are incomprehensible, um, it doesn't matter how good of an artist you are. Um, that's the big that's the big trick, I think. Get into these weird debates over is the art important or the story important, and of course everyone says it's the art. And it's this crazy trick question answer. The story is important, but the story is told through the art. And this doesn't mean being a great artist. It means being a good storyteller, visual storyteller. The joke I like to make is on like on ancestry.com. They'll tell you how much your percentage of Neanderthal is, which I think is funny. Because then I tell people I'm a Neanderthal American. Um, but it's the cave thing. It's the ability to paint on the cave walls there. Really, there's a lot of trickery to it. I think stories are good. And super important. I'm glad to have had sort of a lifetime of Dungeons and Dragons and other things. Um, that prep me for those all important skills. There we go. Let's take a look. What does it look like without the thing? All right. I'll hide in these bushes. All right. I might actually pull this character off because he is kind of annoying. I mean, he's useless in the thing. We just have him as. I just want to establish that he's still hanging around. Okay, so how do we do this guy? I think we're going to start with his frontmost leg. He's still wearing his original boots. What I'm doing when I pull back like that is I'm doing a line weight check to make sure that heaviest line weight's got to be in this foreground. Which I've got some heavy line weights. Anything that isn't a shadow makes me wonder if I something like that. All right, and then the next thigh. I'm just going to push it to the back. I think he could have the same belt that he started out with, even if he's not wearing the loincloth anymore. There we go. His weapon's going to be in front of his hips, obviously, but we're going to just we'll erase as we go on this. All right. Okay. We can get away with not going too detailed on the face at this distance. Remember, this is the distance. Let me find another comic to do a compare and contrast. Let's see. What to do? Let's see. Son of Tarzan. That's going to be about the right size. So when we're looking at size of a figure, we can get about this size. That would be a very small figure. How about this panel right here? We've got this kind of middle-sized figure. That's about the right scale. Okay. Shout out to Dell Comics. All right. All right. Now I've done a little bit of design closer up. It's just a big breastplate with these big shoulder guards, and he's got some arm things. So there's the shoulder. Here's the chest plate right here, and it's got these kind of straps that come down. And how does it look? I think we're in the right realm. It's almost like a football player, with the big shoulders. And then the elbow guard. All right, there we go. Get some shading, some shadow. At this point, the shadow is more important than the detail because you're at a distance, right? So you want to make sure that everything seems to work out okay. Yeah, I don't consider this the reveal panel. The reveal panel is bottom one where you can actually see the full armor. And this is all about you want to give the audience the chance to see him in the new costume, right? In the new clothes. All right. Okay, I'm gonna draw the whole thing without the weapon, and then I'll bring the weapon in because we're gonna be erasing as we superimpose the weapon up above or up in front. There's the elbow guard. And if you remember yesterday, I was talking about leaving his hands bare. You can always put a character in gloves and gauntlets. I think that's fine to do, but something about leaving the hands bare makes the character, in my opinion, more trustworthy. Yeah, let's see. His hand is behind. So you know what? Yeah, this hand should be behind because his foot's forward. So if your foot's forward, your hand's behind. And now we get to the part where everything can go wrong. The face. So far, so good. All right. One thing I don't like is the line that goes under the eyes. Yeah, I think we're good here. I think we're okay. Is his head too big for his body? Yes, slightly. Seems like I'm constantly having to do this. I need to train myself to draw smaller heads. Let's take a look. That seems about right. All right, let's bring back all pencils. I'm gonna go ahead and do the weapon, the Vorpal blade. The whole weapon can't even fit. I think that's a good spot right there. All right. Ego trip. I listened to a lot of De La Soul lately. The one album, supposedly, is it March already? What are we on March 2nd? Um, supposedly they're gonna finally put out or re-release their catalog or something like that. It's Trugoy passed away suddenly of something. Died of something. I used to love De La Soul. They had a song called Ego Trippin' though. It was about Tupac. Well, they say it wasn't really about Tupac, but it was like the video is totally like a kind of a joke on Tupac, which I think is hilarious. And it shows like it's I mean it's almost a parody of like the recent Tupac video that had come out just like right before it. Because it shows them, running around a mansion in the hot tub with the models and everything. And if you know De La Soul, you know that's not what they're really about. But then they would when it shows them like driving around in the car, and at the bottom it would say it's a rental. They're in the mansion. We don't really live here. Leave the magic effects on there before he's powered up. I don't know. We're approaching the end. Now, let's see what we got. There's two. There's two like little bracket things on there, and I can't remember where I put them. Um, how about on the other? Yeah, they come down, so they're actually coming down. I'm talking about these two little bracket things. So once again, it's starting to worry me. All right. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here's our card guard. Deuce. Right. I want to give him a shield, but his arm is way up too high. Anyways, Beast Strangers, it's going to be lit. I've already done the first page, or drawn it anyways. And I've got a 10-page so far script. Um, make his other hand like holding the spear. So let's do that. There's one thing about these card guards is they have these sort of Gumby arms, so you don't have to work too hard on figuring out where their anatomy is, as long as you get it starting and stopping in the right place. I think we're probably okay. The fingers, on the other hand, have to look somewhat convincing. Those are not convincing fingers. That's okay, though. That's all right. No, these shouldn't be these double stripes. All right, we ego tripping. I think the number goes on the left shoulder, too, actually. I'll have to look at the other pages. Yeah, it's the left shoulder. No, it's the right shoulder. It's the right shoulder. Are they all like that? My left, their right shoulder. So that's correct. Well, let's see. Hang on. Maybe something like that. We have our bandages right here for this guy. All right, let's see what we got. We got a good start. Oh man, it's 40 minutes already. Yeah, I gotta go to work. All right, please like, follow, and subscribe. It's gonna take me a couple of days to finish this panel. Just being realistic. Not this panel, this page. Ain't that the way? I think we're gonna put like their shadows in front of them. And yeah, maybe just a couple of days. You gotta put the time in. All right. Please like, follow, and subscribe. I will see you later. There may be another video when I get home from work. And I'll probably still do some drawing on some bee strangers. Talk to you later. Bye now.